let's talk about the pros and the cons of Plus EV sports betting. Welcome to Juice Bets. My name's Trevor. I've been Plus EV sports betting for just under a year now, so I feel like I'm somewhat qualified to talk about what the positive aspects of this great side hustle and sports betting strategy are, and also let's talk about the negatives, because there are a few things that I want to be completely transparent about and we can talk about in this video. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the first pro that I see is that for me, it is the perfect online side hustle. It's very quick to do it. You don't have to put a whole lot of time in. The barrier to entry is relatively low. Obviously, you need a little bit of capital to get started and to have a good bankroll, but with sign-up bonuses and these deposit bonuses that all of these platforms have, if you're just getting started out and you're signing up for 5 to 10 sports books, they're going to increase your bankroll initially by like 3x, right? So you'll be able to really build up that bankroll when you get started. So I honestly don't even think that the capital is that much of an issue. And so we've got a low barrier to entry. It's quite easy for anyone to do it. You just have to place some bets and understand the strategies. In general, I think it is the perfect online side hustle because it's quick, it's easy, and it's something that can be very flexible, right? If you don't do it one day, well, no worries, you didn't do it. But obviously, as we know, the more time, the more effort, the more bets you get in, the better your results are going to be. Now, to quickly touch on the first con, which is kind of a pair to that first pro, is that at the end of the day, if you are taking this very seriously and you're focused on making as much money as possible, it can be a little bit all-encompassing, right? It can be time-consuming, it can be emotionally exhausting. Some days you might lose $500, and that can take a toll on a lot of people. Now, that's why I always preach to keep your emotions out of this, stay numb to the day-to-day swings, zoom out, look at your yearly picket and see that you're up money. And so even if you lost today, it's not the end of the world. But at the end of the day, this is a con, because you can lose money day to day and be emotionally invested in something that doesn't return positive results every single day. And so it can be all encompassing and something that kind of eats away at you and can be a bit exhausting. So keep that in mind. That's my first pro. It's kind of, hand in hand with that. Sorry, that's my first con. It's hand in hand with that first pro that I talked about, where it's a perfect online side hustle. You can put as much time as you want into it. It's kind of a give or take, right? Now I'm going to talk about our second con here. Actually, I'm going to go back to the negative well here, and we're going to be talking about how nothing is guaranteed here, right? At the end of the day, you could do great Plus EV sports betting strategies for 3 weeks or a month or even 2 months, and you actually might lose money. It's not guaranteed. Variance is a real thing, and it can come and bite you in the ass, and you might actually be negative over the first month. I've seen it happen. I've seen a friend do this, and even after the first 2 months, he was still in the red. However, as time went on, as he continued at it, he ended up making money Plus EV sports betting. But it can be difficult when you get started and you're down for the first 7, 14, 21 days. It's a little bit difficult to keep going. So keep that in mind. Nothing's guaranteed, and variance is real. It's very difficult. If we're flipping a coin and you're taking heads every single time and we hit tails 8 times in a row, it doesn't mean that anything's wrong with taking that side. It's a 50-50 chance. It just means you're getting unlucky, and sometimes variance comes around and it's not great. But again, that's why we remove emotions, we zoom out, look at the big picture, and look at all of these people who are Plus EV sports bettors making a ton of money, and you can see that you have math backing your bets. And that brings us to the second and main pro about this side hustle and about this betting strategy, is that you're betting on sports with a mathematical edge. This is a mathematically winning betting strategy. So at the end of the day, if you see that you're losing, if you're worried about losing, you're emotionally invested, you're thinking, what's going on here? This sucks. You can always rely on math, right? If you think, oh, I'm doing this wrong, or something must be done wrong here, well, no, it's just variance. the math is always backing your bets. And so you can always kind of stake your claim into that and know that you have math behind you. And for me, that was such a great way to get over the emotion part of this, because I just realized, you know what, I'm going to be numb. I'm going to let the math do the talking for me. And it's allowed me to not care when I lose one day. And it's allowed me to stay humble even when I win, 7 days in a row, and I make $10,000 in a weekend. The math speaks for itself. And so that's why, that is the biggest pro about this betting strategy, is that you don't need to think that you're a terrible bettor and everything's on your shoulders when you're losing or when you're winning. Now it's just math. You're just sticking to a process that works. And finally, I will have to mention the third con to this strategy, and this is definitely going to happen to every single person who plus EV sports bets, and that is being limited. Now, this is when a sports book will basically see that you are an advantage player, right? Or a sharp sports bettor. They see that you're getting good closing line value, right? They see that you are making mathematically profitable bets. They're not stupid. They can see this. And so they limit your account down to either 0, where you're basically banned and told to leave the platform, or you can only get a couple bucks down or $100 down or whatever it might be. But they're reducing the amount of money that you can get down on these bets, right? And so that is a con, because if you wanna bet on sports for fun, well, now you can't necessarily use that account to get a lot of money down because you're limited. And this also reduces the longevity of this betting strategy. You won't be able to bet on the same account for 5 years doing this. You just won't. Now, a lot of other betting strategies with sharp sports bettors, that happens to them too. It's not just plus EV sports betting. And if you're using OddsJam or in our VIP Discord, everyone who makes money off of the books gets limited. So this is an inevitability. So I wouldn't necessarily fault plus EV sports betting specifically for this, but it is a reality and it is a con. It sucks. I would love to use the same account for 5 straight years. However, you got to get around it. You got to meet new friends. You got to get some family members to start sports betting, and you can utilize, those accounts to continue making money and using these strategies. But yeah, I do have to mention that being limited will happen eventually, and it definitely sucks. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and let me know if I missed any pros or cons in the comments down below, because you know what, I've been so close to plus EV sports betting for so long that honestly sometimes I overlook some things. But I really do think that this is the best online side hustle you can have, especially if you love sports, especially if you love math. And it is very, very flexible. So tons of pros and cons. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll see you guys next time.